Richo, I love pears, and this is something I do at home all the time. Rhubarb and pear crumbles.
Oh, I love this one.
Good. I'm glad you do. I think you could be envisioning something else, and I do quite a healthy version, but I think you're still going to love it. Well, I hope you will.
I remember my mum used to make it. We'd go rhubarb in the garden and she'd get me to pick it and she would chop up all the pears. She'd put apples and currants and those sorts of things in there. Like that.
Correct. You can use literally anything in this, but I need you to chop the rhubarb, please. And I know that you and I have a slight competitive nature when it comes to rhubarb because we both grow it.
Yes.
And mine is better.
I like it. It's really red.
Well, I'm glad, Richo, and it's really easy to grow in the garden because it regenerates really quite quickly.
It's like a weed.
It is. Yep. It's so easy to grow, and the beautiful news about rhubarb is it actually counts in your veggie intake. So when my patients say to me, Preeya, how can I get veggies in during breakfast time, I say eat some rhubarb in a stewed manner if you can. So, Richo, I've also got some vanilla bean here, and I tend to put this in whilst I'm stewing the fruit, the pear and the rhubarb, and it just gives it a beautiful flavour. There's some cinnamon in there already. Chuck it in.
I'll put all that in there for you.
Wonderful, thank you. And we're just going to allow this to gently simmer, Richo, so that the rhubarb and the pear get all mushy together. That will take about 15 minutes.
The smell of the rhubarb on my hands is beautiful. I love it.
It is beautiful. We love, you can tell, it's a rhubarb love fest. So whilst that's simmering away, Richo, we can move on to the crumble.
Nice.
Now, this is a crumble that you might not be used to, Richo. I don't know, but I'm using oats.
We call it a crisp.
Oh, do you?
Yes,
okay, well, people don't know this, but oats are a really lovely way to get a kind of crumble thing happening on top of cakes and desserts. A little bit healthier, higher in fibre, low GI, good for your cholesterol, so it's a good little alternative.
You know, I've even used muesli as a crust as well. That works really, really well.
It does, and it's a really easy one and a slightly healthier alternative if you're trying to tweak things here and there. I reserved some of the cinnamon, Richo, so I put that in the crumble as well. Okay. Could you please pass over and throw in the desiccated coconut? That's your job.
For you.
So you're going to have a beautiful coconut flavour. And I'm also just going to use some monk fruit sweetener as well to introduce some sweetness on the top layer. The butter goes in.
In it goes.
And then, Richo, I finally get to pay back and stitch you up. And I'm going to get you to use your hands to get those ingredients all together. So we want...
I love this.
You love this?
Yeah, this is the best
part. He loves it. It's the opposite to when you do it to me.
Yes.
But what we want is for the oats to be coated in the butter so that when we put it all in the oven, it goes beautiful and crispy and golden brown. So
we call this the rubbing method, where you just rub it together with your fingers like this?
Yes, perfect. So you do that. This is going to simmer down and then we can put this together.
Lovely.
That has stewed down beautifully.
You know what? I could eat it just like that.
And you can. Can I say, I agree with you. I often put sultanas in here. I leave it in the fridge. My kids will have it with yogurt.
Oh, yes.
Happy days.
Yep.
Very, very easy and very good for you. OK, Richo, so your job is to put the crumble on, please, on top.
That's the important job, isn't it?
It is. It is the important job, and that's what makes it look aesthetically pleasing, so I'm relying on you quite heavily here.
The trick with this, for me, is I just put it on nice and gently. Let it rain down nice and gently so it stays light and fluffy.
Perfect.
You got that?
Beautiful. Okay. Wonderful. Keep going.
I'll do that.
And then what we're going to do, Richo, is we're going to pop these in the oven for about 30 minutes on 180 degrees. And what we're aiming for is for those oats to get nice and golden and crispy so it's like a crumble. And then we are ready to dig in.
OK. I'm rushing. You're pushing me now.
I know.
I'm rushing. There we go. So get the last couple on there. You got a little bit left over. We could have made some bigger ones.
Yeah, we could have. Absolutely. That's for later.
In the oven?
Perfect. Thank you. What do you think, Richo?
They look great. They're a little bit small for me. If you were going to serve this up to my teenage sons, they'd want 3 of them at once. But it's a nice dessert, and you want to have a little bit of something at the end of the meal.
Correct. And I think you want a nice dessert that's easy to make, that's not always going to be that indulgent.
That's really nice, Preeya. I love the rhubarb and the pear. They go really well together. A little bit of spice in there as well. And the crisp topping is wonderful. I really like it.
I'm glad you love it, Richo. That's an easy dessert that I think still packs a lot of nutrition in.
Well done.